Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another review and demo. Today is going to be on the new Dose of Colors and Minnie Mouse collection. I actually picked up the palette and one of the lipsticks, which I am not wearing today. I had to go with a red because of the eye look, but we'll go into that. So if you're looking to see if this is right for you, if you passed on the Mickey and you're curious about the Minnie, or if you did pick up the Mickey and you want to add the Minnie to your collection but don't know if it's right for you, then just keep on watching. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and go into the packaging. So first of all, the box comes like this. It's so super cute. I love it. This box I will keep because it is different from the palette, which I will show you here in a second. But this is super classic Disney and I love it. Makeup and Disney combined is everything for me. On the back, it just gives you the ingredients, tells you the expiration, it tells you it's cruelty-free, which is awesome, and then also it is made in the USA, so that is that. Next up, we'll go ahead and go into the packaging of the palette. This is so cute, and this is why I say I want to keep both, because look how different they are. So my Mickey I do still keep in its original box, and this is what the Minnie looks like. If you're curious to see what the differences are, here they are, and I honestly think I like the Minnie packaging better. Super cute, really girly. On the back, it just gives you the diagram of the layout of the shadows, and then same thing, it gives you the eyeshadow ingredients. It tells you the net weight and that it is cruelty free. So for reference, you do get 6 eyeshadows and 1 blush in this palette. Each eyeshadow is at 0.04 ounces or 1.2 grams, and the blush is at 0.28 ounces and 8.0 grams. Before we dive into the inside of the palette, let me just go ahead and give you the description off of the Dose of Colors website. I have not seen this come yet to Ulta. I know the Mickey did, at least the lip products did. I never saw the palette come to Ulta. However, it is, I don't believe it. You know what, don't quote me on that. I have not checked. But in store, it's not available anymore. So I don't know the how it's going to be for the Minnie collection, if that is going to come to Ulta and for how long. But it is $39 on the Dose of Colors website, and it says, a classic never goes out of style. Meet the special edition Minnie palette. Bold, fun, and glam all in one iconic palette. Multi-use, 1 matte blush, 6 neutral to bold eyeshadows, shades in a variety of matte and shimmer finishes. Some of the eyeshadows can double as highlighter and blush. So I think that pretty much stands true for any palette. It's just that they're pointing it out. Also, if you do order it from the Dose of Colors website, please note it is a final sale. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the inside of the palette, which is what I am wearing on my eyes today, and we'll go through that here shortly. So the inside comes with your typical mirror, and what I love is that on this side you do get a little bow, and then on the inside you do have 6 shades again and 1 blush. So this is going to be a little bit more pop than the Mickey palette. I will compare them to you here. Well, let's just do that now. The Mickey palette is a little bit more I don't want to say dull, but the shades are definitely darker than the Minnie palette. But that just makes sense because Minnie wears bright colors. And so here is the side by side. And then the Mickey palette came with a highlighter. The Minnie palette comes with a blush. So let's see if we can do this up close so that you can have an idea of what they look like. So definitely difference. Now with 6 shades, you are a little bit more limited. So there is that up front. Let me go ahead and grab swatches of these, and then I'll be right back so that you can see what those look like. For the first 3, we've got Shimmer On, Forever Friends, and Style Flash. So obviously you can double that as a highlight or as an inner corner highlight. It's up to you. It is a little bit on the gold side, so for someone like me that's a light medium skin tone, and I don't prefer like deeper gold shades on my skin tone, they just don't go well with me. It's not ideal, but for my deeper skin tone ladies, I could see that working very, very nicely. Hang tight and I'll be back with the other swatches. So here you go. Your 2 pops of color is going to be Glam Girl, which is an orange, Dots Are Hot, which is a red, and Forever in Style, which is a black. That is 1 swipe swatch for reference. These are mattes, although the Dots Are Hot and Glam Girl do have a little bit of gold flecks of sparkle, but it's the kind of sparkle that I would consider like Too Faced sparkle. It's a matte shade, and if you really don't use an adhesive base, that glitter is going to fall off. So you're going to see in the demo I am wearing that red, and you can't hardly even tell there is any sparkle there. So keep that in mind. So I consider them to be more of a matte, and for a matte, they swatched very, very nicely, very opaque and very smooth. So last but certainly not least, we've got the blush. It's called Hello Girlie. It's very cute, and they are, just for reference, these stain because I have rubbed and have not been able to get that off quite yet. There is the blush. It is more of a peachy shade. It's not, I mean, I guess it's kind of like a, I mean, I don't know that I see any pink in there. It really is more of a peachy shade. So, as you know, my Dazzled and Disappointeds to go, this would be the time that I would bring you in up close and tell you what I am wearing on my eyes today, but we're just going to do a demo and put this on my eyes together. So let's go ahead and jump into that segment of the video, and I'll be back with my final thoughts. We're going to start off with the shade Forever Friends. This is going to be my transition shade. It really is the only one in the palette that is your traditional or your typical transition shade. Totally lost my word. So I did build it up a couple of times just because of the desired intensity that I wanted. Now I'm going in with a couple of these, or it's just one of the little elf strips. I cut it in half. And I'm going to go in with the shade Dots Are Hot. It is the red shade in the palette, and I am going to place this in the outer portion, or on the outer portion of my lid, and into the crease, taking it up into the crease a little bit, maybe about 3/4 of the way, more or less. And next up, I'm going to go in with my Fenty Pro Filter eye primer, and I'm just placing this on the portion of my lid where I'm going to lay down that gold shade, which is called Shimmer On. And I just find that putting this on directly with the wand and not blending it out just helps these types of shades to really pop, and they just adhere better. So I did go in with a couple of layers, but honestly one layer of this shade really pops. It is very intense, very metallic, and very pretty. I'm going to go back in with Dots Are Hot, and I'm going to kind of blend those two shades so that there's not really like a harsh line, but I do sweeping motions because what this does is it helps give that gradual reddish shade on the gold, and it helps it look like such a, like the gradual transition is perfect. Next I'm going to go in with a liner brush, and I'm going in with this black shade. It's called Forever in Style. And this is where this elf tape comes in really handy because I can't do this without the tape when using shadow as my liner. So I'm doing a winged look with this eyeshadow because this black eyeshadow is very, very opaque. It's very pigmented and very easy to work with. Now it's time to take that tape off so that we can see the nice sharp line, and obviously very happy with the result. Going back in with the shade Forever Friends, and I am putting that with a pencil brush on the lower lash line. Next up, I'm just going to go in with some black liner in the waterline. This is just a black liner by LA Girl. And I'm going to go into my Mickey palette for purposes of the highlighter because this is what I'm going to use in my inner corner. Obviously you can use Shimmer On from the Minnie palette, but since I already used that on my lid, I wanted something a little bit different. And then it's time for the blush, which is called Hello Girlie. And I'm just going to go in with an angled brush and place this on. It did require a little bit of blending, but nothing really difficult, and the end result was really nice. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it a little bit easy to follow. So before I go into final thoughts for the eyeshadow palette, I do want to give you a swatch of the lipstick that I picked up, and that way I can kind of give you my final thoughts and review over both products. So the box comes like this. It's got Minnie on one side, or on either side, I should say, and then it's got the ingredients on the back. So very cute, vegan, cruelty-free, and then I'm checking to see, yeah, the lipstick is also made in the USA. The tubes for these are absolutely just adorable. It does come in your typical little kind of rubberized liquid lipstick tube that you know Dose of Colors to use like for their collections, and I can't remember, I think their permanents are also in this little shape, but the tube is red and the lid has, or the top has Minnie's, the little Minnie head It is so super cute. I picked mine up in the shade Ladies First. I opted to not go for the red because, ironically, I don't wear a whole lot of red lipsticks, even though I'm wearing one today. And for reference, I am wearing the Rihanna Stunna lip paint in the red shade, and so this I actually picked up in the pink, and I kind of went out on a limb because pinks can really differ from the stock photos online, and then you get them and you're like, oh, this is a blue based pink, I wasn't looking for that. This was very true to what I saw online, and I kind of picked this up on a whim because I didn't want to pay the shipping. I was $1 away from free shipping in purchasing this palette, so I thought, let me pick up one of the lipsticks. The pink looks pretty, and I'm so glad that I did. So it comes in your typical little tube with their normal wand. This is more of a moussey formula. I have a couple of the I Love Sarai shades, and those are a little bit more, those are on the liquidy side, and so I was a little surprised to get a moussier formula, but that's okay. It still has performed like what I know Dose of Colors lipsticks to perform. It's a little, I guess, on the thicker side because of that moussey formula, but it's not anything like super earth-shattering or anything like that. It does end up applying very smoothly, you know, kind of like a moussey liquid lipstick would. I don't know what else to say about that. So let's just go ahead and go into thoughts about this eyeshadow palette. So like I said, first off, whenever you pick up a palette with only 6 shades, you are automatically a little bit more limited. There's not as much to choose from. You have to be a little bit more creative on what you're going to mix and match in order to vary up your looks. However, I will say that for somebody who is on the go and travels quite a bit, this is actually very travel friendly because you also have the blush in here. Same thing with this one. This kind of doubles up and you can do your shadows and your highlight. But given that this one also has the shade that you can use as a highlight, and then as it mentioned, you can use some of these eyeshadows as blushes, which is the case. So then technically you've got 3 blushes instead of just 1. So it's very versatile and very good for people who travel quite a bit. Let's go ahead and go into, let's break down these different shades. So first off, the 3 that are on this bottom row, the ones that I said have the little glitter specks and then the black. I consider these to be mattes. To the touch, they are very dry and dusty. They actually apply very nicely. And I find myself saying that a lot recently about swatches that feel dry and dusty. I don't find that that really affects the performance on my lid. As you saw in the demo, the red went on very nicely, very smoothly. I had no problem blending, evening it out. It's not one of those really rich reds that all of a sudden it stains and then you can't blend it or anything. This is very, very easy to work with. The black, if you love a very rich, intense black that is pretty easy to work with, then this is for you because this black is very intense, and I was able to do a really amazing lined winged liner, of course with my tape because I can't do that wing liner without the tape, and it looked just as good as if I would have done it with like a felt tip pen, eyeliner pen or something along those lines. So this black is very rich, very deep, and so if you're going to use it to deepen up your crease, you do want to be careful with it to where you go in with a little bit at a time, because a little bit goes a very long way with that black. As far as these 2 shades right here, these more metallic type shades, they are so pretty and they apply so easily. I have told y'all time and time again here lately that my favorite method to apply those types of shades to give them even more richness and more pop is to apply my eyeshadow primer directly on with the wand, the Fenty Pro Filter Primer, and then I don't rub it out. I just go directly on with one of these shades, and it helps intensify it so much more, and I have found that to be true even with these 2. They're very easy to work with. So a little bit, again, goes a long way. I didn't need a whole lot for this eye, for my lid, for this eye look. And so like I did even go in with a second layer just to give it more intensity, but truly a little goes a long way, and you're gonna get a very rich saturation of color with these 2 shades. This pretty much is your only transition shade, so if that's a deal breaker for you, then this palette isn't for you, but this is the only one pretty much that you would want to use in your crease as your transition shade. I mean, unless you're super creative and want to change it up, but that is the deal on that. As far as the blush, it is also very pigmented, but it's also very powdery, so it's one of those that you have to go in with a light hand and you really have to blend it out. Once you blend it out, it looks nice, but it is a very very powdery blush. It's not one of those that you can build up and it makes it look like it's part of your skin. This does have that powder type of consistency that looks a little bit more like you applied blush. It's not coming from within. That's okay though. It does perform really well. Had no issues with it. I have not had any issues with it every time I've used it. And of course I've been trying to use that one blush every time I've used this palette just so that I can make sure that it is the real deal. And I love that it has Minnie kind of embossed on the powder. Let me bring you up close. Hopefully you can see that. I think that's really cute and is really part of the details. So that being said, I really do love this palette. I think it's let me take a step back. If you are a Disney collector, if you love Disney and you love Disney and makeup, I think this is perfect for you. I don't think you'll want to hesitate. I think $39 is a decent price point for something like this. If it weren't for the packaging, I'd say otherwise, but you're also paying to get that Disney memorabilia, that Disney packaging, and you know, the whole Disney vibe with your makeup. And so if that is the case, then I absolutely think you should pick it up. If not, then I think you can pretty much find these kinds of shades in other palettes. Yes, the bright oranges and the reds aren't as common, but there's a lot of cranberry palettes out there for which you could find a red. So if that isn't the case, that you are diehard Disney, then I don't think that you really need this palette. It's special to me, again, because I love Disney. So yes, I love it. I love how the shades performed. And honestly, I love it quite a bit more than the Mickey, because the Mickey, again, is a little bit more subdued. It's a little bit more dark in its shades. And so I tend to not use it as often because I tend to not do as many smoky and deep looks. So this one was the perfect alternative to this one for me. And I like that it completes it because it's got the highlighter in this one and it's got the blush in this one. As far as the lipstick, I think this one is an absolute, I'm so glad I picked it up. It was perfect pink. I like the formula. It's pretty comfortable, but at the same time, I do find it separating and starting to crack. So what I have been doing is I have been putting it, I've been putting a Kylie gloss over top, and it just brings everything together. It makes it look very wet and very luscious, and for that reason I like this very much. So love the lipstick, love the palette. As far as whether it is for you or not, you really just have to decide. One, if you want to pay $39 for 6 shades and a blush that you very easily could find in another palette, and two, are you a Disney lover to where you would want to add this to your collection? Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wrap up this video by adding the verse of the day down here below, just in an effort to give you some encouragement, motivation, just to let you know that Jesus loves you so very much. Thank you for watching. If you're new to my channel, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I would love to have you as part of this YouTube family. If you are a Disney lover, I love all things Disney. You would find a very, very happy home on this YouTube channel, and I would love to have you as a part of it. If you're trying to find me on Instagram, you can find me at Michelle's Glamour, and I will see you guys very, very soon in the next video. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.